Welcome to Timeout with Twinpossible.
Hello, thanks for joining us for Timeout with Twinpossible. Today, again casual. It's been a long day. As you mommies know, sometimes you just have to kick off the shoes and relax a little. And here you'll notice instead of my normal cup size of tea, I have this giganto Taco Bell thing that's been around forever. My hydration system here, if you will. My agua. Hate agua, but drink it whenever I can force myself to do it. In the mornings and evenings, just get it in you. So good for your body. But think of this like you were a cup of coffee trying to get up for work in the morning or start your day in the morning with your children after you've been up a long, hard night with your newborn. And times two make that newborn twins very difficult. So imagine this is coffee because that's what you need to start your day, right? Well, today we're going to discuss sleeping through the night. Getting that baby or babies to sleep through the night is going to be your most grueling yet most rewarding task. When it happens, you are going to kiss the sky and be thankful for those 7 to 8 hours of sleep that you get eventually. Okay, you might even get more, but I can't make any promises. So the only way that I can teach you is based on my own fumbles, faults, and mistakes along the way that I've learned from in rearing 5 children thus far. I've made so many mistakes that I had to have learned from them. Especially with my daughter, there was a big gap between my sons and my daughter, and I guess that we just coddled the heck out of her. And it was the first by my husband, so he's not a very big disciplinarian. I'm not either. I guess I expected the husband to be the bad guy, but we just both kind of like just caved in on her, first little girl and all. I tell you, my doctor told me when she was 6 months old to stop the rocking, singing to bed, stop the soothing. Told me that at 8 months old, 10 months old, 12 months, he kept saying, you are going to have a 3-year-old that you'll be rocking to sleep at night. And he was wrong. She was 4 and she wanted us to rock her to sleep at night. And we still have to lay in the bed, sing, tell stories. So he couldn't have been more right, but he was a big fan of the crying it out. It's a very controversial issue of letting your child scream until he passes out to sleep. My thoughts on that are, I'm not judgmental, but when my doctor says let it go to the point of, I don't care if they're vomiting shell, that's to me is very extreme. A minute maybe, but it's very hard not to run to your new baby or babies. With multiples, I think they get more used to being patient, having to wait, because there's only so much you can do on your own when you are on your own. But everything is just really hard to watch a new baby cry, and so especially before 6 months, I wouldn't condone it under any circumstances because your child has basic needs and their cries are for something. But leaving that topic alone, what are some things that you can do right now with your newborn or newborn twins that will enable you to get a better night's sleep and your child to get a better night's sleep, or your children? Well, first things first is that you're going to want to make nighttime as boring as humanly possible. And I mean, why do we go to sleep? We turn down the lights, we get comfortable in our beds. We don't need somebody to sing to us, we fall asleep. Soothing yourself to sleep is something that a baby needs to get adjusted to. They need to learn how to soothe themselves to sleep. Not cry themselves and puke to sleep, but to be able to be put down in a real groggy, sleepy state and be able to go off on their own to bed. Not being rocked and sang to and then put to bed. That will create a pattern that will be very hard for you to break in the future. And that, can follow you years down the line. My daughter didn't take naps. We didn't schedule the naps right. So she gave up on them, and she still has trouble sleeping through the night. But my newborn twins do sleep through the night, and I don't consider that luck. I consider that doing these things that I'm telling you right now. Make night boring. Make sure everything is dark. Okay, if you don't want your babies waking up at 5 a.m. during those times of the year, buy shades you can pull down, ones that are really dark. Keep the room totally dark until you're ready to let them up and say it's morning. So try to sing and coddle and soothe to sleep for the naps and just in between playing and bonding with your children, try to just at night turn off the mommy part of you, the heart that says, please let me just coddle this baby because I want to, because that's going to create a bad pattern. Just dim the lights down, make it dark, okay? In the middle of the night, when they do wake for feedings, take them, put them on the bed, feed. If you have twins, even if the other one is asleep, put the bobby pillows on the bed, put the baby that's crying on the bed, put the sleeping one that's on the bed, make the bottles, and the other one you'll notice will take some too, and that will prolong her amount of sleep, because if you don't feed the other one, then an hour later she'll wake, and then it's going to be a terrible pattern with twins. You have to keep them as best you can on the same schedule. And so nighttime feedings, you're going to want to do that for, absolutely. My husband used to turn on the lights when he was home and feed them in the light. I said, how are they going to know night from day if you're going to do this? You can't do this. So I showed him my way, and lo and behold, soon they were sleeping through the night. So you shut the lights off and make it dark. When you need to feed them on the bed, of course you're going to have to see what you're doing. Keep the bottle warmers handy. I suggest having 2. Put the bottles in there. Time them to go straight away so that you're feeding at the exact same time, okay? And use a dimmer switch if you have. If not, turn on your bathroom light or whatever light's near the room, and then crack the door just a little, so a little bit of light comes through, but it still looks like it's nighttime, okay? It still looks dark enough that it's not going to confuse the babies. And don't sing, don't even talk. Very hard, mommies, I know. Kills you. Don't talk, just feed, do everything a little bit robotic at night. Make it boring and make daytime fun. So in the morning, when they're ready to wake and you're ready, then you're going to open up those dark shades, you're going to let the light in, everything's going to be fun, and you're going to take your babies and you're going to play with them, and you're going to sing, and you're going to laugh, and you're going to, feed them their bottles and hold them and coo with them and sing. Do all that stuff when you're ready to start the day, not when you're trying to get some sleep, okay? Because otherwise you're going to have a tough time getting the baby to know the difference between night and day. And some silly things that people don't think about is like crib bedding and things that are in the bedroom of the baby. If you make things too flashy with too many hot colors and designs and wild things going on in the room, it's going to actually stimulate your baby to stay awake longer, and stimulation is going to lead to fussiness and overtiredness and crying and cranking, and you're not going to know the reasons, but I'm telling you this trick now. I had a very busy pattern with my daughter, and it looked gorgeous, and I thought nothing of it. And then I learned that this totally sidetracks your baby and does not keep them in a peaceful mood. It makes them it makes them uppity, and I don't know why, it just does. So colorful, bright, swirly designs are not best for your crib bedding and decor. So you're going to want to keep things as simple as you can. We chose just a solid pink for the bedding. It's all one color. It's soft Chanel. It's really pretty, really feminine, but basic. So there's no stimulation going on in the room, and everything is just basically pink and pretty and feminine, but not over the top. So those are some things you want to think about. I used to use the mobiles with all my children. Some babies actually don't fall asleep from those. Some actually get more stimulated, or they may like it and fall asleep from it, but may rely on it. So I mean, even back from the mistakes I made, I remember with my first son, in the middle of the night putting him in the swing. That became a nightly thing, putting him in the swing. That, to go back to sleep, that was really stupid, because that created a pattern that lasted for some time. You live and you learn, you make your mistakes, but now, especially if you have twins, you don't want to make them again. And I got my twins to start sleeping through the night. My big one, Allie, went to sleep through the night solidly by 9 weeks. The other one followed within 2 weeks of that and was only getting up once anyway. I'll say those first 7 weeks or so were a bit rough, but my husband was also doing some things the wrong way while he was home trying to give me some rest, which was great of him. But when I saw what he was doing, I stepped in and just figured it all out. Boring, everything boring, no stimulation at night, no singing, no rocking, no cradling. You can hold your child, but especially like during the day, if you want to try it out during the day first, if your child's very groggy, you see tired, put them down and see if he can soothe himself to sleep. Some babies are better at it than others. I have one that's great at it, one that's not so great, but it works sometimes. it takes a while for them to learn to soothe themselves, so don't expect that to be an overnight thing, nor is it an overnight thing to get them to sleep through the night. They may actually want more food before bed. That's a sign that they know their days from nights. My Allie started stocking up on more ounces before bedtime, and she did sleep a lot more through the night. And it was really interesting to see how she could know, as a baby of that age, 2 months old, what she was doing, but her body knew. And we kept everything dark and light in the day, and that was the trick. Other things, let's see, if your baby is really riled up and overtired and fussy, you can put them in a sling or a baby carrier and wear your baby around the house. Do your little tasks that you do, cleaning up the house before you go to bed, and your baby will fall asleep and relax, and then you can put your child down, and hopefully he'll sleep through the night, or at least for a good amount of time, after feeding. So you want to make sure you feed your child before bed. So if you want to get the best of it with a newborn, you want to feed them maybe 11 o'clock at night, 10, 11 o'clock before your bedtime would be best, to give you the longest stretch. Maybe we'll make it to 5 or so, 4, you'll be lucky. But then eventually the bedtime is going to go back down to like maybe 8:30, and then they'll sleep through the night, and that'll be a blessing, because a mom who slept is a happy mom. So, though some might say that carrying them in the carrier might make a bad routine, you're just doing your usual things, and it's just basically relaxing your child. It's not putting them in a swing, something foreign. If you don't have to do it, don't do it. I'm just saying there's some babies that are colicky that will not go down for anything and will go through that fussy time, and rather than pull your hair out, that is a way to deal with the situation. You also can do nighttime baths. They work for a lot of people. If you're willing to do that on a nightly routine or a semi-nightly routine, go for it. Your baby will associate that with bedtime, so you can always do that. And I do recommend Johnson & Johnson's lavender lotion. It seems that when I put that on my babies after a bath, they just want to pass out. So, things to think about there. And, just try to stay in a routine. When you get to eating solids, that'll be even better, like 3, 4 months. Some pediatricians 3 months. If it's like 4 months, 5 months, even 6 months, they'll have more in their gut before bedtime, which also allows them to sleep longer. But like I said, if you have multiples, it's more daunting of a task. So please, no matter if she's sleeping and, I don't want to wake her, they can eat while they're sleeping. They'll take something down, trust me, and everything they take down, even an ounce or 2, will prolong the rest of their sleep. Okay, so also what you can do is, you can also use one of those white noise machines that keep, like the noises throughout the day that they hear, the vacuum cleaner, the TV, little things like that. For some reason, it soothes them. The sounds of the boom. If I had to go so far as to play my own heartbeat and tape record it, I would do that for my babies if it came to that point, because they pretty much figured out the night and day pretty good. With my other pointers, but I should have tried that with my daughter. But anything that's like that, where you can push a cassette tape or push a button on a machine and then go to sleep, is okay. That's not you up, rocking, singing, you're asleep, okay? So putting something on the CD player is not a horrible thing. Might it create a small habit? Maybe, but it's not a habit that you yourself have to literally, do the job of. So all you're doing is pushing a button. But, just don't overstimulate before bedtime. Stick with a routine. Just watch what you do with decorating the nursery and your crib bedding especially. Watch the mobiles and the projectors and stuff. Keep all those happy-go-lucky things for the daytime. And just try to just coddle as little as necessary in the nighttime. And if you ever do get frustrated with a screaming, crying baby or 2 screaming, crying babies, please do not freak out. Do not get angry with your children. Walk away. Get your husband. If your husband's not home, call a friend, or just leave the room and sit down. Recoup, get yourself together, and get back into the situation, because you really can't lose it. You have to be a strong mom. And it's very hard, I know, but you can do it. And if I've done it, you can do it too. Nothing makes me more special than you. So follow these tips, and I wish you a good night's sleep really soon. Thank you for taking time out with Twinpossible.